Yes. Okay. All right. So we're going to basically talk more about UX, and we're going to start designing our mobile app screens from today. Now, the first thing I need to make you understand basically is to know the counts and the margin size for your mobile app screen. All right. You guys are all used to, you go to your frame. Can you guys all see my screen?
Sorry, sir. No, we can't see
No?
your screen. I don't know if you're
Okay,
sharing
thank
it.
you.
No.
Because I just thought that, thank you for saying that. Okay. Can you all see my screen now, my Figma?
Yes, sir.
Okay. All right. So basically, we're going to be talking more about the mobile app on how you're going to get to design it. And one of the things we're going to talk about basically will be on what frame sizes should I use when I'm actually applying my layout grid and all that for my frame size. So you're all used to, if you were to create a landing page or a website, you click on your frame, and then you guys would select desktop and then select desktop, right? To get this. This is what you guys are all used to. Then you apply your layer grid and set the layer grid. Now, how do you go about doing mobile screens? This is the same approach. You click on your frame and then you go to your phone and then you can select any of this. But I personally just maybe like to use 13 and 14. You can use any of all of this. So I can decide to click this, but like I said, you can use any of it. In fact, maybe if you're an iPhone person, maybe it may be nice to actually select something you can actually um, see on your phone, which I'm going to show you when we get to that part, how you can actually, what you designed, you see it really on your phone, and you can actually, apart from the fact that you see what you're designing here, but how you can actually see that on your phone and interact with it after prototyping. If I click on something on your phone, like on your real phone that you use, it would show. We'll get to that point when you guys are done with your prototyping, and I'll show you how to do that. But someone please remind me in case if I forget. All right, so this is how to get your frame. So I guess everybody already know how to do frames. Now, when applying your layer grid, you select columns, the count, leave it as 5. All right. The default sometimes coming as 5. Just in case if yours coming as 6 or 4, please put it at 5. And then the only thing the gutter, leave it at 20, the type, leave it as stretch, width, leave it as auto. The only thing you get to change here, in case if this is not 5, put it at 5. But the only thing you get to add or change is just your margin. Now make it 30. That's all. And you already know your margin is the space between the grid and the border of your frame. Now, this is what I want you to do. This is the first thing I want you to basically do. Now, I'm going to play this just because I want to be showing you some things. Now, the next thing when it comes to text, we've all said in a text that when it's a title text, maybe on your hero section, there's really nothing like hero basically here and all that. But I can actually say there's a footer. But I would not maybe really say there's a hero. But I can actually say there's a header. All right. And I'll show you where the header is. But I could actually say there's a footer. Maybe I could actually use that word. But there's really not like hero section per se when it comes to mobile app. All right. Now, remember that in your website designs, we actually said that for your hero section, your title text should be nothing like, should be from 45 to 65. And then your body text, across anywhere should be anything from 16 to 24. And whatever you select, from your hero or your body, if you use 16 all through and all that. And they will also said that for your title text as well, the title text you give in your body text, so if you've given 16 as your body, then your title to be able to distinguish that this is a title text, you could give it an 18, a 20, 24, or 22, depending on what you want. Now, you can apply 65 here. It's going to look way too big. So the font sizes when it comes to mobile are a bit different. All right. So let's say I say, hi, team, and I place this at 65. It looks too big even designing here. I mean, just looking at this already, it really looks too big. Now, if I want to basically see what it looks like on this, you can see basically heighting is way too big. I mean, if you check all our mobile apps, you can't see any font as big as this and all of that. So now that brings me to, okay, what kind of fonts should we use when it comes to that? Now, I would say when it comes to your body text, all right, use 16. You can still use 16 here for your body text, all right? You can still use 16. Now, also when it comes to emphasis, which I believe by now you should be able to know when I say something like an emphasis and all that. Let's say, for example, you're trying to put, you already have your emphasis could be your about us, that small one you put out as about us, and then maybe the title of what you're trying to say, maybe um how our company started could be the title of this, but your emphasis is about us. So that one you make it a bit smaller, and other than you give it like your accent color, right? And then the about us, which be much bigger, maybe in 22, 24, and then the emphasis could be like maybe 14 thereabout, and then your body text. I believe we should know what emphasis means now. Now, for your emphasis or something you're trying to, draw someone's attention and all of that. Okay. So basically, you can give it nothing less than 14. Sorry, 12. Sorry, 14 for your emphasis. Give 14 for your emphasis and all that. Now, meaning that if this is 16 for body text, if I was trying to create an emphasis here, this would be 14. So this is what 14 would look like. Remember, this is a body text. So let me shift this down. Now, if I'm going to do a title text, what I would give it between, depending on what you're trying to do. I like to say, okay, still between 16 to 24, all right? But even if I've given this, if I've given this 16, I may want to give this 20 or 22 and all of that, just for clear, to be able to clearly distinguish which is which. If I feel like this is much a bit, maybe I could raise it to 20. So it depends on what I'm trying to achieve, basically, and all that. So you can see that this basically could be, okay, let's do this as about. So this is basically my emphasis, just in case if you're placing an emphasis in your design. This is basically for my title text, and this is for 16 should be my body text. Anything maybe from 16 to 24, depending on what you're also trying to do. That's why I said from 16 to 24, all right, should be your title text. So please write this down, because I don't want to be seeing 40 something as title text on your work. I don't want to be seeing 30 something as title text. I also don't want to be seeing anything less than what I've given as a body text. 16 should be your body text. Your title text should also be from 1624. When I say 1624, like I said, it depends on what you're trying to achieve. But if I've given this 16, I may want to give here 20 or 22 or 23 or 24, depending on what you're trying to achieve, all right, or you're designing. I've said when it comes to emphasis and all of that, give it 14. That's if you need it. It's not every design that you need this. Now, the smallest, which I don't really advise, but it depends on what you're trying to do and all that. Maybe there's something you're trying to work on and you really need that. The smallest text that you can ever give on your mobile should not be anything less than 12. So the smallest that you should not be anything less than 12. You can see how small it is there. Should not be anything less than 12 and all that. Now, that's one thing you need to be able to learn on that. How do I get, instead of having to toggle from one page to another page, instead of having to toggle from this page to another page. But before I go into that, if you understand what everything I've just said, please pop up a Y. If you understand everything has to do with how to get the frame size and set the layout grid for your mobile app, and also the font sizes you should use, please use a pop up a Y. If you don't understand, you're confused, pop up an N. And I expect every one of you to do that so I can get to know. Please, everyone pop up your response. If I'm not getting your response, I'll assume you're not here. And if I assume you're not here, after a while, I'll take you down. Please respond. 1, 2, 3, 4. We can't just only have 4 persons, and then when I'm done teaching, someone is asking me questions of something I've passed by. Come on, it's not fair. Please reply. Cynthia, I'll go back to it. Richard, I'll go back to it. Okay. So I've said if you want to get your frame, you click on your frame. This is where you go. You click on your desktop and you select desktop to get your desktop frame. But at this point, we're actually doing a mobile app and not a desktop or a website. So in this case, you select your phone. And you can decide to select any type of mobile. I personally like to use 13 and 14. It's just my own preference. But you can decide to use any of it. Maybe if you have a 15 Pro or a 14 Pro or whatever, you want to go with that, that's fine. If you want to do Android, that's fine. But I personally like to use the 13 and 14. I can even use depending on whatever I'm trying to work on. So let's say if I click on 13 and 14. Now, the next thing obviously you need to do before designing is setting out your layout grid, which I have explained what a layout grid is. So I don't think I need to go that deeper because you guys should already. If I click on this plus sign, click on this, I'm going to set it. Now I said on default, you will get 5. But just in case you don't get 5 and all that will just popped up. I don't want yes, Cynthia and Mr. Endwell, your hands are raised.
Okay. What you said about you personally liking 13 and 14, is there like a standard for mobile app
No,
apart
there's not.
from your
No,
preference, or you
there's
can
not.
just work with?
It's just preference of basically what maybe whoever you're building that for wants. It's going to, at the end of the day, still fit across all screen sizes. But personally, why I like to maybe use that could also be the fact that maybe, for example, if I have a 13 or a 14 iPhone, for example, and all of that, and I said at some point, I wouldn't show you how to do that now. At some point, what you've designed, you can actually see it on your phone. But I said I was not going to actually show you guys how to do that now. It's at the point when you guys have finished your high fidelity and your prototyping. Around that period, then I'll then tell you, okay, this is what you need. This is how to get what you design on your phone. Like an app that if I click on this, that's that, but it will make more sense at the point when you are prototype, so that when you click on something, it will take you to the next page. It will look real, when you have that on your phone. So I actually then I said that if basically you have a 13, at that point it may look nice to maybe, for example, get a 13. If you have a 14, design on the 14 so that it fits the screen size. But it doesn't matter anyways. You can actually, there's no standard, or it could also be what your employer basically wants. It doesn't matter.
Okay.
Okay. Mr. Engel.
Okay, sir, you've answered part of my question. It means that even though you choose Android, for example, it's going to fit across an iPhone screen. Is that what you mean? Or if you choose an
No,
iPhone,
no,
it's
iPhone,
going to fit on Android.
iPhone for iPhone.
Okay, so Android for Android,
Yes.
iPhone for iPhone. Okay.
Yes, any Android will fit any Android. Any iOS will fit any iOS. Yeah.
Okay, thank you, sir.
Yeah. Was that your questions? Just so that I don't basically.
Yes, that's my question, really.
Okay, so it wasn't about understanding how to apply the layer grid and.
No.
Okay. Was that the same thing for you, Cynthia?
No,
It wasn't the same for me.
it wasn't the same thing. I still wasn't clear on how to set it up.
Okay, and then same as well for Richard. Okay, no problem. I guess you understood how I got in here anyways. Like I said, you go to your frame, you select what type of frame size you want. I personally just chose 13 or 14. It's just my own preference because I use an iPhone. So depending on what you use, you may also want to do that. There is no standard rule to it. Now, maybe after that, the next thing you have to do is select your columns, and then on your counts, give it a 5. In case it would come in as a default on 5, but just in case it doesn't come in as 5, please make sure you put it as 5. All right. Now, your 20 for gutter, leave it the same. Leave all the other ones same. Just your margin, just change it to 30. Before on your, who can tell me what layer grid we apply on the web on your count and margin? Who can remember? When you're designing websites.
100.
100 on where?
The margin.
And then on count?
As if I can't remember 10.
12. You tried. Well done. Well done. Good. Okay. Okay, I thought someone said something. Well done, you tried. So the count is 5 and the margin is 30, and that's all. You have set your layout grid. Then you can start designing. That's what I said. Now, moving over to font sizes. And I said that on websites, web applications, landing pages, I've always said on your hero section, we have a dedicated type of title text font size you should use. And I said on those ones, use 45 to 65. But I've said that on your mobile, you can't actually give it 45 to 65 here. It will look way too big. Now, if I place this on 65, it's way too big and all of that. It was obviously taking the whole space. Imagine if you have to write everything here on 45 or 65, it will look too big. And I said, if you basically look at it like this, when you play the present, it looks too big. So I said that the difference here is a bit, the font sizes on mobile are a bit different. So I started with basically on your body text. When you're giving your body text, you can apply between 16 to 24 and all that. But you also have to be careful to ensure that it's not looking too big in case if you apply a higher body text. All right. But personally, I like to use 16 on a default on my body text when it comes to mobile. Now, and I said that, for example, on your title text, you can also decide to give it 16 to 24. When I say 16 to 24, I mean you can apply any font size between 16 to 24. But I personally, basically, if I'm giving this 16, I may want to give this a bit more just for hierarchy. Remember when we talked about one of the principles, hierarchy and all that, just to be able to show that this is a title text. So I might decide to apply maybe a 22 or a 20 or a 22 font size, and then apply the font weights, whether medium or whatever, just to clearly distinguish that this is a title text. Then I talked about creating emphasis. Let me explain, just in case. I said that by now we all should know what emphasis is when I say emphasis, but for benefit of those who may still get confused, let me look for any emphasis that this is an emphasis. This is an emphasis. This is, when you look at this, this is quite big, but if you actually agree with me, this basically catches your eye. You can say I gave this 14. It catches your eye. I gave this 14 and all that. So basically, it's just like a little summary to kind of tell what 7 community does. So that's like an emphasis. That's like a detail that they help to fight hunger today. This is what I mean by emphasis when I talk about emphasis. So, and I'm saying that when it comes to emphasis and all that on your mobile app, give it a 14. If you need it. It doesn't mean that every single thing you need an emphasis. That's if you need it and all that. So it's optional. Then I also said the lowest font size you should ever give to your mobile app should be 12, depending on what you're trying to achieve, but never use 12 for your body text. Don't use 12 for your title text. Don't use 12 you can decide to use 12 if you want for your emphasis. That's if it's still going to be very visible. But we're saying that the least you can ever go, depending on whatever you're trying to achieve, should nothing be less than 12 on your font size. If I go lower than that, it would really not come out, nice. Do we understand all of this? Please put up a Y if you understand this, so we can move into the next. If you don't understand, please put up a Y and N. If you understand, put up a Y. Please, everyone. Great stuff. All right, since we understand that, the next thing is, how do I get, you guys are all used to the fact that I can actually just come here, click on this present, and then it would open up this page, right? Now, what if I basically, just let me say something as well. Let's say if I've clicked on this and I open up this and I'm not seeing this mobile app, because many of you would have issues with this because you've not said this before on mobile. You've been using it on web, so you have issues. So please pay attentively so that you don't come private chatting me, asking me about this again. Please pay attentively. You guys have been working on web and working on websites, so you can see that when you actually click on your present, you don't see this phone sign. Usually you see what the landing or websites, the frame size. That's what you basically see. How do I get this first here? This is what to do. All right, you click on any of the frame, come to your prototype, click on show prototype setting. You see this device here? If I put it here, you know, make sure it's on portrait, just in case if it's not on portrait default and by default. You come to your device down here. There's a drop down. You can see if I actually want to make it if I click on none and I click out, it will give me, you can see that phone is no longer there. So it will just give me whatever frame size that I'm saying, which we actually apply when it comes to websites. So on yours, you will see this device as none. Okay, you will see this device as none. So if I want to set the mobile, I have to just take it back to how you would see it. Then I want to take it to how you get to see a phone. You click on prototype, the same process. You click on show prototype settings. Now your device, basically, you're just trying to select what device do I want to see my, you know, frame size on. If I click on that, maybe if your frame size was 13 and 14, I can decide to use maybe 14, for example, as my own phrase, because I said 13 and 14. So I can decide to use 14. So whatever frame size you basically choose, just basically choose the same thing here and all that. So I'm going to go with 14. So you can see that it shows me on preview that this is what it's going to look like. And if I click out, you can see that it has taken that shape of what, you know, what iPhone 14 will look like. Now that's one step of it. Some of you may say, you may have seen it on maybe TikTok or someone's you know, UIs or wherever, and you wonder, how can I get this right here on this editor so that as I'm designing, I can actually be seeing the phone thing here without having to be flicking through screens, because it may look, some may consider it as stressful. If I design small, I go and flick and look, but I want to see here, how do I do that? Now, this is how to do that. Once you have first set this, remember you have to set this one first. Once you have first set this, the next thing you do is on your keyboard, press the shift button together with your space. The space button is that big long one, right? So your shift and your space together, it will automatically bring this here. Your shift and your space, press it together, you automatically. So if I now, once you now get that, whatever frame I select would appear here. So I can be designing, if I'm moving, it will show you in real time. If I shift this, you see it. If I'm designing anything here, you'll be seeing. So I personally like to, when I'm doing mobile, I like to use this one. But if I'm doing web, I like to basically use this one. Unless if I want to maybe see, if I prototype and I just want to see everything here, fine. Right. But when I'm designing a particular screen, I personally like to use this one. So that when I'm designing, I can actually be seeing what I'm doing in real time. If you understood how we got this, you know, how to set your how to set your, what's it called, the settings for you to get to see your mobile app, and also the second one on how to get it on your editor, pop up a Y. And if you don't understand, please put an N.
So your screen is
Sorry, come again, I didn't hear you.
sorry, sir, I can't see the screen.
You can't see my screen. Okay. All right. I'll repeat it.
See your screen.
No problem.
Yes, for the last moments you were speaking, I couldn't see your screen.
No problem. Michaela, your hands are raised.
Yes. Yeah. I do get the shift and spacebar part.
Okay. I'll just say everything again because I can say majority of you all said you don't understand. Okay. Now, I'm going to return this. So just, and this is how you're going to see it. So I'm returning this to how you're going to actually see it on your own. All right, let me close this. I'm going to set it. So how you're going to see this on your own is going to be this. It's going to show none, because many of you have not designed anything basically with a mobile app. So by default, it should be none. All right. Now, how do I basically get to set my prototype that if I click on this, if I say this present, I don't want to see my design like this. I want to see it in form of a phone, in form of a mobile phone. You can see right now, this is just what it's showing me. And this is what many of you will basically experience as well. You guys will experience the same thing. It doesn't show me like a phone. It's just showing me just like a normal screen size and all of that. I don't really like it, right? How do I set it to take a shape of a phone? Because I'm building a mobile app. Now, this is why I've asked that you do. You come to your prototype. Come to your show prototype setting. Can you all see my screen now? Richard, can you see my screen?
Yes, I can see your screen now.
All right. You come to your prototype, like I said, click on that. Then on your show prototype setting, click on it. Your device is none. It's basically Figma is saying that at the moment you have not set any particular device to showcase how you want your frame size to appear on. So it's going to be none for many of you, I believe. So you click on that. And I'm going to select what frame size I use. So for example, when I was selecting the frame size initially, I used 13 and 14. I can decide to say, okay, I'll go with 14. So if you use 12, I don't know, I'm not sure there's a 12 here. There's no 12 here, but I mean, you can use anyone. But I personally like to use whatever I use on my frame size on this one. So I'm going to choose 14 because I'm trying to tell Figma that I want whatever I've designed, show it on how a iPhone 14 will look like. If I click on 14, it gives me a preview that this is going to look like. And I just click out. That's it. You're done. Go back to your design. Click on your frame. Just select it. Come to your present. Click on that. You can see now it's showing me on an iPhone 14 and how it will look like on an iPhone 14. If you understand this first approach, please put up a Y. And I believe if you still don't understand, still put up an N, which I don't think you should, but in case you still don't understand, I'm happy to repeat myself. Great stuff. All right. Now, the second approach, like I said, many of you, because I personally like to, I'm a very big, I'm big on basically when you're designing, don't just design everything and then you're without checking. Even when I'm doing my web, I'm always opening this present. If I design one thing, I go and check, how does it look like? Which I've always been advocating from the very beginning, but I don't know, most of you still don't do that because you wouldn't really know. But when it's on this screen, you're able to see your mistakes clearly. Now, why design all of them? Imagine if I have like 50 or 100 screens to design, and each of them I have to always be flicking through. If I design small, flick through, it's stressful. Now, I want to get this iPhone thing right here on my editor instead of having to flick through these pages or tabs. How do you do that? Because you have now set this, all you just need to now then do is on your keyboard, press your space button. That's the arrow that is up, that is below caps lock. That's your shift. Some it may come as shift, some may just show the arrow facing up, which is underneath your caps lock. Press that and your space bar. I believe you all know what a space bar is, the longer button. Press both of them together, it will appear. Now, whatever you are set on this prototype device is what you're going to see here. Now, if you're here, for you to continue your design, please take it back to design. If not, you won't be able to design. Now, you can see that it's just showing blank, but I want you to show my screen. What do I do? For every screen you want it to show, so if I have 10 screens, I have to click on each of them. If I click on this, you get to see it. So if I had another screen here, if I click on that it will then appear. And whatever you do, it will show in real time. So if I move this from here to here, you can see it as done. If I move from here to here, you'll get to see that. If you understood this part, please pop up a Y. If you don't understand how I got this on the editor, please an N. Okay. Let's respond fast because I'm always going to be waiting for everyone to respond. So if you're delayed, I'll just be quiet and they will all just be wasting time. So if you want us to get done fast, let's respond quickly, okay? Thank you, guys. Now, great stuff. We all understood that part. So I'm going to just delete this. Now, the next thing we're going to now then do is how to design, how to create a design flow. Now, you have done your empathy map. You have done your user persona. You've also gotten your affinity mapping to know the problems. You've been able to pick out problems. You've been able to pick out your solutions. And that has helped you to be able to know for each problem and solutions, what feature will be addressing that problem. But because you guys are all new into this, you may wonder, okay, how do I go about creating design? Remember, it's the same approach when we came to websites, and I said, because you guys are all quite new, majority of you, you may not really know how to basically just get an idea immediately and start designing. Now, when it comes to mobile app, it's a bit more tricky. Not in hardware, anyways. It's very easy, but it has, processes of steps to take. There's always a flow, right? Now, if I say design something and all, design a mobile app for this, many of you may miss the flow. But remember, you actually basically experience these flows each time you actually get to download an app. It's just that you've not taken note of it. For example, if I want to download a banking app, if I go to my Apple Store, or I think Google is Play Store, if I click on that and I type in my bank name and I download it, what would then show is a splash screen. The first screen you usually get to see is called a splash screen. And this is what I want you to do, to jot down the flows. So I'm going to show you the different ways you're going to get it. The first thing you usually get to see is a splash screen. Now, what is a splash screen? A splash screen is that first screen. Try and download anything right now, you see it. It's going to be like a screen, and then all you get to see is just like the logo. That's called the first screen you get to see is a splash screen. Now, when you move to the next things you get to see are what we call the next flow when it comes to mobile. And this is a standard across every mobile app. So you can't design a mobile app without following those standard processes. Some things may tweak depending on what you're not then trying to solve, but there are some standard ones that you just can't miss out. Now, next thing you get to see is what is called an onboarding. Now, I like to say a minimum of, you can use between 3 to 5. Now, onboarding screens are screens that tell you a bit about the app. It's like another way of telling you what the app can do. I like to say maybe stick to 3, just so it's not too much. But you can try to make it 5, depending on maybe, for example, the features and the things that the app is doing is a whole lot that can contain in 3 body. It's not like you're going to write every, just a very short, which I'm going to show you an example. You're also going to put a skip at some point, just in case if people are not interested to basically, I'm sure you guys see these things. If you try, you see it. Most people will put up a skip, whereby if you don't really care about the onboard, you just want to get straight to creating an account, you just skip and it will take you straight to the create account. Now, the first flow is your splash screen. The second flow would be your onboarding screens telling you about the app. The next thing you should get to see is your create account or sign up. Now, if you sign up, the next thing that happens is it takes you back to login, which part of the signing up will be verification. So the next, after creating an account, the next thing will be verification. You guys all know this. OTP. It could be like at the point we're trying to confirm your email. Maybe an OTP has been sent to your email or to your phone number. You need to type that so that it can verify you. That's part of KYC. That's knowing your customers. Then your first step. Then you do that part. Then once you've done all of that, the next flow that comes in is your login, where you then click it and all of that. In fact, yeah, before you get your login, after your KYC and all of that, what should come in next should be your what's that flow again? After verification, what should come in would be that yes, you've successfully, like a notification to say you successfully created an account. And then after that, it then redirects you to your login screen, where you now then put in the email and password that you have created when you were setting up your account. And then it takes you to the dashboard. So you see this from this flow that I just said, is what you get to see in majority, if not all, the mobile apps you download. Now, where the difference may not then happen is from the dashboard, depending on what you're not trying to achieve. That's where sometimes the differences then come in. If you basically experience this thing that I'm actually saying, and I believe all of us could remember just proper why. If what I'm saying makes sense and you can actually connect with it, because yes, you actually see these things when you download apps and all of that, please pop up a why. Remember, the rule is call, communicate. If you don't communicate, I'll be waiting until the last person communicates, and then we're all going to be wasting time here. Great stuff. So that is what the design flow is. So now you all see that you understand these things. So you see these things, but it was a UI UX designer or a pro designer who taught those processes, who had to design these processes, not an engineer. Okay, so you are the ones doing this part. Everything you're doing here is what you would do and then hand over. The engineer is now to look at what you've done and then bring it to life. Great stuff. I'm happy you guys all know how to get to do that. Now, where do I get design inspirations? For example, I'm trying to build a remittance app. How do I go about it? Now, that may be some challenge for most of you, especially when you don't really, you've never done this before. But when you start designing things, you start knowing where to get these things from. Now, one of the places that I'm going to say you can actually get, some of them are free, some of them are not free. Let me start with a very free one, which is Pinterest. If I come here and just type in Pinterest, so Pinterest is not just only for house decorations or fashion for many of us who use that. You know, you can use it for, you know, varieties of things as well. So if I click on picture, this one is free. And then I tap maybe something like, maybe should I say remittance app. Some may show me all the flows I need, but some may not show me all of it because it wants me to subscribe and pay, because the truth is a lot of, you know, most of all these things are not free. So I just look for something that relates to what I'm looking for. You may not get everything in one place and all of that. You may get different things, so you know, all scatteredly and all of it. So I then study this for people. You see, this is the splash screen I talked about. Just your logo, just a splash screen when you download your app. 1, 2, 3, 4. Basically, this is your onboarding. So this basically had, it basically even had 5 onboardings. Remember I said it's between 3 to 5, but I personally like to use 3. But if I have a lot of things I want to convey, then I will do that. But it should not exceed 5. It should also have for skip. I don't know how I'm gonna. It should also have for skip. You know, so this people there. This is not very clear, but you can see that here. You can see their skip. It's not very clear. The reason they are trying to grade it out like that is because they actually want you to pay and subscribe and all and get access to it. So remember I talked about when you now then create accounts, this is your OTP verification, then brings your sign in and all of that, then takes it to your dashboard. Then whatever you now then do from here would now then be on you. So this is one way to get it. These are different ones. These are different types of dashboards you're going to create when it comes to your home screen and different things. So you can pick up ideas from here, add up to your own and create something, you know, for your remittance app. So this is one way to get your design flows. Now I'm going to show you another place to get your design flows. The next one, basically here, let's go to page flows. Because I use this more often, you can see it's already on my search, you know, because I basically still use it more often. I don't know, I'm just going to type in, if you basically have some remittance app that you already know their names, try and see if, because now this other two I'm going to show you, sometimes they actually have the plan for, you know, the user flows or design flow for each of those. Let's say, for example, Wise. Most of you actually put Wise as your the different remittance app that maybe your respondents, you know, to know if your respondent use them. You can see that there's a user flow for this, and I can actually, so I think this one is like a video, so it shows you that, okay, this is for when you download, open. I mean, you don't need to design all this one. Can start from, where's the other? Can start from their splash screen. You can see this is splash screen. You know, you see this time and all this bar, you're going to design it. Introduction slides is also known as onboarding screens. That's what's mostly, so you can see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Remember I told you that the maximum you can ever go is 5. The minimum 3 at least. And I talked about this is basically telling your users what, you know, they should, you know, they can actually do. So this, what they did was, is either you click on this for this to keep moving, or you can just, from the first one you're not interested, you can just quickly go and register, or you can just, you know, if you've registered already, you can then just log in. Some might decide to put up a skip here on this side. You know, if you don't want to go through this, you just put up a skip, then it takes you to a create account. So it depends on what you're trying to achieve. So you get to see that, you know, sometimes you actually have some you actually have some design inspirations that you could get. Now, most of this may not be free. It may not show you every single, you can see, it takes you down. Just play along with all of this, all right? It may not show you every single thing at times because it wants you to pay. Like Mobbins is, they are one of those people that sometimes they will show you some things, and then the other part, they'll say, okay, if you want to see the complete design flow, of this and all that, then subscribe and pay. All right. So if you have the money, you may want to do that, or if you really want to take this UI UX as a career, know that you can decide to, subscribe because you would get huge benefits from it. That's if you do have the money, but there's no pressure of having to just use whatever that is available free for now. You don't need to spend ₦1 at the moment. Just use whatever that is available free. So wherever you can get that is free, use it, look for another place and get the many ones and all that. It doesn't have to be that you get all your design flow in one place. The next one you can actually get is Mobbins. What did I just show you? Yeah, was Pageflow I showed you. Now, this is another place basically you get to also sometimes pay. But there are free things you can use here and all that. And then maybe if you want to see the complete one, it may ask you to pay and all that. So, so if I click on, flows and then click on, I don't know, let me just say Wise, because I know there's Wise here. You may not see, or if I type Lemfi, I may not see Lemfi. For those of you who use Lemfi, I may not see Lemfi because they don't have it here. Revolut, I think they should have Revolut. Yeah, and all that. So they see there's a Revolut here as well. And then you can see that this is the splash screen, and this is, wherever, and all that. So you can basically pick up ideas. You can see descending and all that. So what I want you to basically do, so this is their setup. So this is their splash screen. This is their onboarding 1, 2, onboarding 3. So they have 3 here. But instead of putting up a skip, they decide to just put that if you don't want to actually go through 1, 2, 3 when you're prototyping, then just come here and click sign up straight up. And then they decide to use mobile to sign in and for you to get your OTP and then set notifications. These are different verifications if you want to do verifications and all that. Then they put email, password, confirm your password. So this one's quite long though, and all of it. So you can see they have a lot of things. Well, it's quite long, so try and shorten yours. But if you really want to go to the long way, feel free to do whatever you want to do and all of that. So you can see that it's still before they now then got the dashboard itself. This is where the dashboard now then started from. So they've got quite a resources that you can actually use here to get some inspiration, but do not copy everything here. Remember, plagiarism, you don't want to do that. It's just for you to get an inspiration. So you can get here, just try to see, okay, you as a user, you've used most of these things. How can you actually do yours to become better? That's the game plan of it. And then you also, when you're designing, you have to always look at the problem statements. You have to look at what, you remember the brief that I actually read, I sent to you guys earlier. You have to read and understand that. You also have to read your empathy map and things like that, your affinity map, to be able to know, okay, these are the key things I want to solve, and that will inform you on what you should be looking for and how you should get to design it. So these are different ways you can actually get to design your stuffs. Now, just to show you, I think I talked about this when I was reading the brief to you guys, and I said that when I was actually, I remembered and I said, okay, let me just show you exactly what I'm just trying to do. I mean, it should be longer than this, but I did this in a few hours. Remember, I think I mentioned that on your brief. I just did all this in a few hours. I just wanted to just show you guys what I'm just trying to say. So this is my low fidelity. And then let me bring this. So this is my low fidelity. If I click on this, basically, it takes me to my next, these 3, I did 3 onboarding screens. All right. So I can decide to skip here if I don't want this, or just quickly just log in or sign up straight from here. So this is my second. You can see the first one says that you can send money internationally with ease. The second one says receive money internationally. And this one is give live conversion rate in seconds. So that's like the things I want to equal out to people. And then if they basically want to sign up, this is how to create an account. And then this is to log in for those who want to log in. And all of this password. And I did for forgot password, every single thing you're going to do. So you're going to design all of it down to your dashboard, what your dashboard should look like, and all of it, and all of it, and every single. So you can see this dashboard. If you're going to, you see this send money button, you're going to design what the what the interface of this send money is going to look like. I think the send money should be somewhere here. I think is this one. Maybe something like this for send money. Your mobile, it is for currency converter. Where's the currency converter one here? Currency converter. Yeah, so this one was for this. Add money was for, if you want to add money and all that, then that's for that. I've showed you that. For mobile money was for this. And then save contacts, so this contact. History is this one. This transaction history. This one was for account setting, which is this account. And then this last one, help, is this. So basically, you're going to design everything on your dashboard, on your home. You're going to design everything. So each of all of this, you're going to design the interface of it, right? So each of this, you're going to design each of it and all that. That's basically what your assignment is going to be. So basically, what I expect you to do is this. You're going to sketch, but I'm not interested in seeing your sketch, all right? So you don't need to actually upload it on Figma, but you can actually do it, kind of. I still do it up to now. I don't just start my low fidelity just like that, because if you go like that, you then you see that, okay, I think this doesn't work. You would have spent so much time having to adjust things nicely, and just to find out that all the things you've done doesn't work out well, and then you start afresh. It's waste of time. So I like to always use my pen or my pencil and paper, and I sketch out. Once I've sketched out maybe my splash screen, so I go and check the design inspiration of splash screens and all of that. First of all, get the flow. I've already told you from the splash screen down to dashboard. All right, and I've told you, okay, yeah, the last one you can actually get a flow is this. You can go to your app store or your Google Play Store, find any of all these remittance app, download it, and then take note of the flow. So even down to the dashboard, okay, from the dashboard, what are the flows that, okay, if I click on this, what's the next thing that comes up? Write the flow down. So you can decide to use these ones that take screenshots, which I've just showed you, the 3 ones, either Pinterest, Mobbins, or Page Flow, or you can actually look for, download several remittance app and then check the flows out. You can even take screenshots of it and all that if you also want to. As any particular one you get, I also do that. I take screenshots. The next one, I take screenshots. This would also help you to be able to get different ideas on how you're going to do yours better. So you're going to sketch. Your assignment is that you're going to actually sketch those things on a paper for each screens. But what I'm interested to see on your assignment basically is your low fidelity, which I've just showed you here. So what I want to see is all the screens for all the flows. I want to see all your low fidelity for it. That's just your assignment. All right. So like I said, research on your design inspiration, you sketch your designs, and you create your low fidelity. I don't need to teach you how to actually design anything because you guys already know how to design. That's why I started with telling you the font sizes that you can use. You can see that on my title, I said it can be between 16 and 24, but I use 22 here, right? You can see that on my body text, I use 16. So all these ones are not something you already know how to do it. This is my sign up button and all that. I use 18 and all that. So then remember, obviously, if on emphasis, remember, if you're on this page, when you do the second one, let us know that this is for the second and all, because it'll help you in your prototyping as well when you're doing that. So every other thing here is very easy to design. I've also told you guys on how to set your layer grid. On the margin, give it 30. On the count, give it 5. Every other thing stays as normal. Remember, the same way when you're designing your low fidelity, use gray colors only. I don't want to see this is the high fidelity. I don't want to see. I'll teach you how to get illustrations. I think I've taught you guys illustrations. I'm not sure, but in case if I've not, I'll show you guys on that. So I don't want to see any colors. It has to be gray colors, and I've told you how to get to do that. So please, the white and gray colors and all that. You guys have been doing that already before now. So make sure that it's all gray colors and all that. That's basically what you are meant to do. So you design as much screens, you can do 50, 100, as much as you can, 25, 20, but make sure you cover up everything. That's the most important thing. You can decide to go very much detailed. Like, for example, there is this project that I did, and I went way, way detailed, but I had more than 100 and something screens, But I'm not going to ask you for that. But if you can, great stuff, you can then go ahead and do, then I don't have it here. Okay, let me see. Where is this thing? Even this one will not even show everything. I need to log into my accounts, but I don't really have that strength, so I can't remember the password now. This will not really show what I'm trying to do. But anyways, this basically is some of it. On one particular one I did, it was about 100 and something altogether, 100 and something. But this, I just selected a few because if I put 100 and something here, I'll show you how to actually create your portfolio. When we get to your portfolio, it's very detailed. It takes, it's a lot of things. This, my profile I just created, because I remember that the last one I couldn't remember my password. I wanted to change something, so I created this one recently and all that. So all about this. So you can see that stuff I told you about. You're not just creating, you're going to put it on your portfolio. You see all these things, your user, this thing, you're going to put them here. You see your empathy map. When we talked about empathy map, you need them for your portfolio. User person. That's why I kept saying every single thing you're doing, you're not just doing it. You're going to need them at some point. Affinity mapping and the rest of that. So I wanted to show you guys this thing, but let me see. I don't know if I can remember my password. Let me just check. It was for one particular project that I did. I really don't know if I can remember the password now. Let me give it a try. If you understood every single thing basically that I've said so far regarding to what you need to do, please pop up a Y on the comment box while I try to show you what I'm trying to show you. And if you don't understand, please pop up an N. If you understood every single thing I require of you, please pop up a Y. I expect everyone to please give that response. Remember, I'll be waiting until the last person actually gives a response. If not, we'll stay here. Yeah, I think I found it. Okay, great stuff. You guys all understood everything. Great stuff. So I found what I'm looking for. I was able to log in. All right. So this was for a saving app. This was about 100 or something and all that. It's very, very detailed. You can see this is what I expect you to do when you're labeling. Label is so I know exactly. Don't just design things and expect I should know exactly what you're doing. It's not just for me, it's for your employers or whoever that, even for you. So you get to know where you can easily identify your screen. So always just create, maybe like just drop a little frame size here and label each frame and all that. You can see this basically show that this is for my splash screen. This basically shows that it's my onboarding. I did 3 here. This basically shows that this for my everything has to do with creating an account screen. It all falls in here. And you can decide to go detailed like me. All right. I think that's why my own screen went a bit more. You can decide to go more detailed like me, but you can decide to just keep it short by just saying this is just a create account screen. It depends on what you're trying to achieve. I see this one I decided to do, okay, this is how to type, and this is how to type. Because me, I wanted that when I'm going to type, right? If I click on email, it will show that I'm typing. If I click on another one, it will show the rest. All right. So it was just what I wanted to do. This basically is everything has to do with my OTP verification and success screen and all that. So it starts with go and check your email. So when they open the email app, it takes them to open the email app. Then from the password they put in here, you guys all see these things. So it's what you're going to design. You confirm your OTP. Then I just went like if you type, all these things will make sense when I'm actually doing my prototyping. It's usually nicer like that. But anyways, you don't have to get very detailed like me and all that. Then your verification and then down to your login. You can see every single thing. I wrote what everything is like. This for the checklists. That was my KYC. So all of this was for my KYC because I went very detailed. even the numbers they are going to type, I designed it, which I would encourage that in case if you were to do that. I basically just looked at my iPhone and just basically designed whatever I saw there. Yeah, so we can see down to the so I had different KYCs and all that because this for this period was very in-depth and all that. Then the dashboard itself, this was my dashboard and all that. So let me even show you what the high fidelity. So you can see it's quite big and all that. It's quite big. If I bring this up here, okay, I need to set this to non-show prototyping and set it to 14. So I can get this, which I've already explained how to do that. And I'm going to take this back to design. So you can see this is basically what my dashboard would look like and all of that. So personally, I just decided to do a very longer dashboard because they had so many content they wanted me to put in. So I had to basically do it much longer. Or you just need to just drag in the length in case if your dashboard is going to be longer and not on the exact size for this. Like for example, I didn't have to drag this length down because whatever I was going to do was going to contain all of this. But if what you're going to design like a dashboard, like for example, this one, I didn't drag it down, the length itself. Remember, you leave your width. I've always told you, leave your width same, but your length, you can drag it down if you have more content or things you want to put in there. So this one, I left at 390, 844 because everything could actually fit in whatever I wanted. I remember I did this in a couple of hours. So, but this one, they had a lot of things that needed to go in there. So I just dragged the length down, but the width was the same. I didn't touch the width. This is the width, but I just dragged down the height. So that I can accommodate more things, basically. So that's how to get to do these things and all that. It takes the down to it. It's a huge one. Okay, 115 screens. There are 115 screens at the end of the day. Okay, so that's how to get to do that, and that's why I want you to do your assignment, but just for low fidelity. If you understood every single thing on what you're going to do and everything we've talked about today, pop up a Y. If there are no questions, if you have any question, pop up an N. No, pop up a Q for any questions. If you understood every single thing from what we've thought down to your assignment, which I've said your assignment is make your design research. I don't need to see them. Sketch your design. It's for you. I don't need to see them. But what I'm interested to see is your low fidelity for all your screens. So basically, if you understood every single thing, pop up a Y. If you have a question, pop up the Q. Everyone, please. We're 11. I'm only seeing 2. So we're going to be here until everybody says something. I'm not the one delaying, guys. So I'm waiting until you guys are all going to say something. Then we leave. I've only have 5 people, so we have extra 4 persons who have not said anything here. So guys, if you understood, please pop up a Y. If you have any question, pop up a Q. So that we can call it a day. Okay, so I assume everybody basically understood it. If you private chat me, I would not answer you. Great stuff. So I believe we all agree. If you private chat me about anything that concerns this assignment, I would not respond to you. Please do not say I'm rude because it doesn't make sense. All right. So since you all said you understood, and for those who did not reply, which I've taken notes, if you actually chat me, I will not respond to you. All right, I'll see you guys on, for those of you who may want to come in on Tuesday for the Q&A, is at 6 p.m. If I don't see anybody after a while, I will just go off. So yeah, if you do have any questions, just let me know. It's always nice not just coming without doing anything. It's always nice that you've started doing your assignment and then you present what you have done so far. So that if you're in the right track, it's at that point I get to say, okay, yes, you're in the right track. or you're not in the right track, this is what you intend to do, which most of you have benefited from this. But when you come just blindly, there's nothing, you've not done anything, and you're coming, it's good. But how am I going to help you? Then maybe when you submit your assignment, you submit late. How am I still going to help you? All right. So let's not just come blindly. At least do something. Okay. I appreciate everyone who comes in, but at least do something so that it could be more meaningful than just coming just like that. All right. In absence of any questions, we will call it today, and I'll see those of you on Tuesday who would come in, and for those of you who will come in on Saturday, please do well too. On Saturday, I'm going to be reviewing. So I'm done teaching on this. What I'm going to be doing now is be reviewing your work. So I'm going to be doing less of the talking, and on Saturday, every one of you who do, yeah, let me just put it out there. Apart from Mr. Moses, any one of you who don't do your assignment, you see this particular one, and I'm very serious. If you don't do it, don't bother. Don't even show up. Don't bother. Because on what you're going to do, you're going to start defending why you did things. So there's no point you being there, you're not doing anything. I call you, tell me you've not done your assignment. It doesn't make sense. You guys can agree with me that for how many months now, I have been very patient. A lot of other instructors would not be this patient. You already know. We can both agree on that. I've been very patient. If you give me an excuse, I will take it. I would not argue on it. In fact, even when you lose morale, I help boost your morale. But I have also gotten to the point whereby if you're not doing anything, which apart from Mr. Moses, which I he's working on it, which myself and him have agreed on some different plan. Every other person, I need to basically see your work on Saturday. See this particular work, I need to see it on Saturday, where you've gotten up to. Now, even if you've not finished it, I need to see at least that you're doing something meaningful. You've gotten to a very good, but I'm not saying if you do 1 or 2 screens, you tell me that's all you've done. All right. But I need to see that you're actually doing something, because that's what I'm going to actually check. And then last thing, just to say, if there's going to be a certification I'm going to give to you guys, but it's to only those who have done all the assignments and done their projects. And I'm very strict on that, because I don't want to award someone that I can't actually. You tell people you've learned from Tech Mind, and they ask you to do something, you can't do anything. It's a bad name for me. It's a very bad name for me. So I need to know that you've done all your assignments. So unless if you're not interested in it, that's fine. But if you do need a certificate, make sure that all your assignments and all your projects are being done. Because I'm going to, before I issue anything, you and I will go on a one-on-one. You're going to show me every single thing. You're going to show me that's why I've been very lenient with you guys to be able to finish up. You're going to show me every single thing. And only those basically who show me every single thing would actually benefit with the last class. So we have like I think if you guys do this, we should have like 2 or 3 more class left, and we are done for this. 2 or 3 more class left, depending on. And then the last class we'll be talking about which is a bonus tip. We'll be talking about how you create your portfolio. Which I'm going to show you. I'm going to talk about how you hand over your designs to developers, how to apply for the UI UX jobs, how the different things. So for that last class, on that the Tuesday before the last class, I'll have one-on-one. You show me everything you've done. If everything is all correct, and that will give you entrance to the last class, whereby I'm only going to share this other extra informations, and I'm not recording it. If you don't actually do all your assignments and your projects, if you send requests, I will not accept you. I believe that on my own part, I have done my very best for months, 3 months, to give you enough time, which you have not fully, done your own parts as well. So if I have to be wicked for 1 day, no problem. So that's my own part. So that's why I'm giving you guys enough grace. So try and finish it, because I intend for all of you to benefit from the last class of it. So please do well to finish your assignments and your projects. For this Saturday, I expect that everyone who is coming in, do something on your project, because you're going to be doing more of the talking. I'll do more of the listening and questioning, because we need to practice on how would you present your project. That's what we're going to be doing from now till we basically end. you're going to talk to me why you did this. What was your thought process on why you did this? Now, this is basically to help you. So don't be shy about it, because if you're shy about it, then what about in the real world? You're going to defend why you did what you did. Don't just design things for design, because I'm going to question you. And I may be hard on you, but please don't take it in the wrong way. Because in the real life, in the real world, life is not that fair. No one is going to speak to you very calmly like I do and all that. I'm not saying that that's the right way to speak, but people are going to be more firm because they just want to get the value they're just looking for. So I may question you, and so you have to prove that you basically know what you're doing. From next class on Saturday till we finish up, in which we have either 2 or 3 more classes they're about to finish. All right, in that case, I'll see you guys. Do we all agree to get our assignments done? I'm going to ask you guys one by one, just so that at least on record, I know that we all have it on record. I'm going to start first person on my screen. Who is first person showing on my screen here? Mr. Endwell, you ready? Do you agree that you're going to finish up your assignment before the D-Day? So I'm not going to repeat all this, when I call you, but this would apply to every other person I'm going to call, just as a disclaimer. And also get this assignment of your low fidelity for your mobile app. Yeah, at least, even if it's not everything, but at least to a very substantial point. Okay, I'm not going to pressurize you on finishing everything, but at least a very substantial point. But it's your duty to finish it up, anyways. Mr.
I'll do my best by the grace of God.
This one is not by the grace of God. God has given you the grace already. You just have, remember we talked about faith. You have to believe that. So we all agree.
Yes, I'll do my best. Yes, sir.
Great stuff.
Thanks.
Cynthia.
Yeah, by
No, by the
God's
grace.
grace.
Nobody choose by the grace. God's grace has been
Okay, I'll do my
God's
best.
grace is
I'll
sufficient
make
for all
sure
of
that
us. It's in abundance.
I'll do my best.
Great stuff. So we are in accordance that on Saturday I'll be seeing your low fidelity on this particular work. Ifeanyi.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Cool.
Great stuff. Josephine.
Yes, sir.
Great stuff. All right, Mr. Moses, you and I already have a different arrangement. And please, there's no special treatment. It was just that there's something very spectacular. There's something about, why he can't at the moment, which he has reached out to me privately. Just the same way you guys reach out to me on some things privately, and I don't bring that open. So that's the reason. So I'm not giving any special treatment. But there was like critical emergency in a way. Even sometimes I still don't know why he's able to still manage to still come into class, because there's something he needs to sort out. But that shows commitment, even though the fact that he has some critical things to sort out. So well done on that one. But yes, we do have a different plan for you. So yeah, I'm not going to call you at the moment. Michaela.
Yes, sir.
This is your yes, sir. Okay. It's all right. No problem. Great stuff. Jesse.
Yes, I will.
Great stuff. We all have this on record. So in the court of law, we cannot, nobody will say I did not. And for those of you, just in case of those of you who obviously, because a lot of persons actually told me they were not coming in due to work or wherever. So just in case you're watching this also applies to you. So if you don't do this assignment, there's no excuse of I didn't attend. That's why I was not there when it was said. You're watching it, and even if you don't watch it, it's still the same thing and all that. So Jesse has responded. Richard.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Great stuff. Shay, I know you told me that you are at work and you may not speak. I don't know. Can you still speak? Okay. Because she initially told me that she would join in, but she may likely not speak because of work. All right. So Shay, I also want to be, I know you've been in your assignment. I also want to believe that you get that one done. So we're all in accordance, because I know you can hear me. All right. I think that's everything. And I'll see you guys on Saturday. So if you join in, the first thing is I'll call you and you present what you've done so far. And if I call you, you've not done it, just please respectfully take off. If at the end of it, if I have only 5 people who are serious, I'll go with the 5 than the crowd. Okay. So just respectfully, we just take off yourself. You've not done anything, don't even bother, because I'll take you off and it will look like I'm being rude, which I am not. So please, I beg of you, I don't want to do that. Please do something. It's going to help because whatever you're going to design, you're going to build your portfolio, which I'm going to show you. And those are things on the last class. If you've not done any of this, there's no point coming to that last class, which I told you it's a bonus. There's no point doing any of all this. I'll see you guys next week, Saturday. For those of you who are coming on Tuesday, try and do something so I can actually just review your work and make sure you're in the right direction. Goodbye, everyone. Have a lovely weekend.
Thank you, sir. You too.
Right,
Bye.
have a lovely weekend, everyone.
Okay, bye.